Hello to all my Namtarians, it is Namtox and I'm back with another Factual Opinions, the one and only place to get the only correct opinion about the world of video games. And today we're going to be doing a factual opinion on Killer Instinct, the Xbox One exclusive fighting game that has been out for a couple years now, and I love it, so I figured it's time to go in, take a look at it, and give you guys my factual opinion on the title. So, June 2013, a little montage plays, some music bumps, and then Killer Instinct is announced, and people go crazy. Phil Spencer walks out, he's confident, and it seems kind of insane that in 2013, Killer Instinct of all games is back. But it is. So, immediately it's like, oh man, I'm so excited, but then it's like, Killer Instinct wasn't the best playing fighting game. Let's be real. So, you start to see more news on it, and you start to see more gameplay. You hear about Double Helix is the one making it, and you're like, that's a little weird. These guys made G.I. Joe and Green Lantern. They don't really have a fighting game pedigree, especially a classic one like that. Ken Lobb is still around to oversee the project. The music sounds okay. And then that fall, you hear that it's taking a seasonal approach. A free-to-play fighting game with Jago as a first free character and having a free rotating character after that. Nobody expected Killer Instinct, when the Xbox One launched in November, to be as amazing as it was. I don't care if you were super hopeful or anything, but that game played phenomenally. You hear about a seasonal approach, and no fighting game had ever tried that. And it had a very small roster, but it was incredibly well balanced, and it was already extremely fun. The base, the doubles, the manuals, everything about it was insane. And seeing each trailer for a new character come out, tease the next character, you realize that was the future, and that was the correct approach for a game like Killer Instinct to come alive right at the launch of a new generation. The look of it, everything about the character's design, their costumes, their accessories, it was so much more than what the original game was. It took those designs and brought them to life in a way you never expected. Spinal looks like a pirate. Thunder just has this huge imposing will. Orchid has all this little gear on her. She looks like a rebel fighter. It's just everything about the look of these characters is phenomenal. From Season 1 all the way to the end of Season 3. Sound-wise, it'd be remiss to not mention the amazing sound design. Killer Instinct, I feel, leads the way when it comes to sound design, not just in fighting games, but in most video games in general. Grabs, punches, combos, every character's voice clips, the sound of projectiles getting blocked, the sounds of a nice meaty uppercut. And then when you pull an Ultra and you hear the music dive and dip with each punch and kick of your combo, it is amazing. The first time you hear it is just as good as like the 200th time you heard it. It never gets old, and I always want to let an Ultra combo play out, much to the dismay of my opponents online. And speaking of sound, we'd be foolish not to talk about Mick Gordon, the composer. He had done some work before, but Killer Instinct is where he made his mark. I feel that without Mick Gordon's music and sound design, the Killer Instinct wouldn't be the game it is right now. I honestly feel that way. It's one of the strongest scores for any video game I had ever heard. From Jago's theme, Orchid, the way the music will scratch out when a grab is blocked, the way how it shifts dynamically with the combat. There's never been better music for a fighter. Every character's theme and stage is instantly recognizable. It feels like it belongs to them. It is truly top-notch. AAA. I've never heard anything better. And Mick Gordon has gone on to make the Doom soundtrack, which is also just as incredible. Now, Mick Gordon, Season 1 and 2, he was not able to come back for Season 3, so Microsoft went and found Atlas Plug and Cell Dweller, who are really great producers in their own right. They don't quite hit the highs that Mick Gordon did, but they also didn't exactly drop the ball and fail. Like, their Arbiter theme, their Tusk theme, are top-notch and stand toe-to-toe with the Mick Gordon music. So big special thanks to them, because the music of KI is so incredible, and I just, from Killer Cuts back in the SNES days, I never thought that the music would be brought to life in such a dynamic and interesting way. Even hearing the music slow down and you get to hear a classic theme sneak in, it's phenomenal. On top of all this, none of it would really matter if it didn't have great online. In a world where MKX and Street Fighter V and other fighting games launch with subpar netcode, Killer Instinct is the best. It's the premier fighting game if you want top-tier online gameplay. I'm not sure what system it uses. It's not GGPO, which has been used as an industry standard for superb fighting game netcode, but it is incredible. It feels great. It feels just like you're playing versus mode with your friend on the couch next to you. There's no connection problems, and if there is one, it's very, very rare, and it's usually depending on the person playing. It's phenomenal. It's allowed the online to flourish and keep that game alive in a way it wouldn't have if the netcode wasn't as superb as it is. Now, in terms of modes besides the online, they kept the basic. Season 1 had an arcade mode. Season 2 had a rivals mode with a little bit more cutscenes in between certain characters. And Season 3 tried a new thing called Shadow Lords. Shadow Lords is kind of hybrid of XCOM style world domination with crafting systems from most survival games, moshed in with the fighting engine of Killer Instinct. It's a cool mode. It's not quite the highs of the Street Fighter Alpha 3 World Tour mode, which I was hoping for, but it's still much more than you get in most fighting games. And considering that Street Fighter V didn't even have an arcade mode at all when it launched, it's excusable, especially for the lower budget and the free-to-play nature of it. In terms of story mode, and if you wanted to get better, Killer Instinct's Dojo is where it's at. It's a great training program. I mean, it is extremely in-depth. It explains not only fighting maneuvers and things you'd want to do, it explains why you'd want to do them, how you want to do them, and show you how to do them in a way that you can go through that thing and be competent enough to give anyone a decent, fun challenge. With Season 3, they announced cross-play, cross-buy. This was basically Microsoft's Play Anywhere before they had a Play Anywhere. When Season 3 came out, it also debuted on PC, and it was phenomenal. It's one of the greatest PC ports of a console game ever, and considering PC is usually starved for good fighters, having it be cross-buy instantly means you have a ginormous online roster to fight with. You're never not going to have an opponent to play with. It's fantastic. It runs great, it looks great, it's well optimized, uses arcade sticks, uses the controllers. I cannot thank them enough for bringing top-tier fighting games to PC, and the game is still supported. Overall, Killer Instinct is a game originally this shouldn't work. You start off with Double Helix. It's Killer Instinct. I mean, it's the 90s personified in fighting game. But when it was announced, from every reveal leading up to you being able to play it, as soon as you get your hands on that controller, all doubt goes away. It is perfection. It's one of the greatest fighters of all time. The fighting systems, the way it's evolved with the seasonal approach, which if you look at Street Fighter and look at Mortal Kombat, it has clearly influenced the fighting game industry as a whole, because everyone is trying to take a little piece of what Killer Instinct does. And you can't say any more than that. It's just truly tremendous. Much props to Double Helix. And then when Iron Galaxy took over for Season 3, which switching developers is always kind of a crazy thing, it did not matter. They've kept the ball going. They've added really diverse and interesting characters, and they've done a great job of listening to feedback and keeping the game alive, adding new things, and making players feel invested. It's 3 years of this fighting game, and I can't wait to see what they do next, whether it's a KI Season 4 or a Microsoft, Brawl Smash fighting game. I'm interested. Even their guest characters, such as Arbiter, Rash, are perfect, and they fit in with the KI universe in a way that you would not expect, but they do. This is my factual opinion on Killer Instinct. It's absolutely worth it. It's completely free, so you can just hop in there and try it out. If you have a decent PC with Windows 10, if you have an Xbox One, you'd be remiss not to go in there and give Killer Instinct a shot. Trust me, it's going to blow you away. Thank you to Microsoft for bringing it back. It was one of my favorite games in the 90s. And I just can't believe that we're in a world where Killer Instinct stands toe-to-toe with Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter. It really does feel like 94 all over again. And that's my factual opinion on Killer Instinct. Thank you all for watching. Trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. Like, comment, and subscribe if you like the content. And tell me what you guys think of Killer Instinct. What's your opinions on it? You know, just because my opinion is factual and doesn't mean yours isn't valid. So put it down below, and I will see you all later. Thanks for listening.